Okay, ladies and gentlemen, kia ora, and welcome to the 2020 New Zealand CFO Awards. Yes, it's a little different than we expected, but we're still here and together, and I am still the same Paddy Gower, your host for today. And as you can see, I take black tie very seriously. If that's on the invite, I do it no matter what, and I hope that I'm not the only one wearing it out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing some photos being sent in of other people in black tie right now, although I guess I might be waiting a while. Now, I am absolutely delighted. I could not be more delighted to be here to celebrate our finalists and winners for this year, because I just love a good CFO. Everybody likes a good Chief Financial Officer, always have, always will, and you've been doing a great job this year with the shifting sands of the world. We all know how hard our CFOs and our finance teams have been working in all our New Zealand companies to make sure that we are keeping businesses going, to make sure that we are keeping jobs, that we are finding money where it needs to be found, to keep things humming. So thank you to all of you CFOs before we get underway tonight. A special Paddy Award for all of the good work that you and your teams have been doing for us in New Zealand. Be very proud of yourselves. Now tonight, the CFO Awards recognise excellence in finance and in business, celebrating those individuals and teams who have made a difference to their organisation, to their profession, and just as importantly, to the community. Now, firstly, Conference would like to acknowledge the patience and support of you all in being here today to celebrate, with particular mention to our finalists who went on the journey of entry, of judging interviews, and then the award celebration was, of course, postponed not once, but twice. Now, though, we can finally celebrate. This year saw a record number of nominations, the most since the awards began back in 2010. Now, the judges had a hard time deliberating over the high calibre of nominations, and the finalist interviews were no easier. They were not easy at all, from what I hear. So to all of the finalists, your achievements are recognised, and we acknowledge you as being the best in New Zealand business and finance. Okay, organisers Conference would like to take this moment to sincerely thank this year's judges. Wonderful, wonderful group of judges. Andrew Carroll, Roger France, Catherine Drayton, Bridget Coates, and Professor Jill Wong for your time, for your expertise, and for your commitment to the New Zealand CFO Awards. Your work is truly and greatly very much appreciated. Now, it should also be mentioned that to ensure all judging was fair and impartial, where there was any conflict of interest, just the smallest conflict of interest, the judge recused themselves from the judging process. The CFO Awards are fortunate also to have a fabulous family of award category sponsors, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank them for their support. The awards being presented tonight are Emerging Financial Manager of the Year, sponsored by Consolidator, powered by Develop in Europe. Now, the other award includes Finance Team Contribution to ESG Initiatives, sponsored by Tax Traders. Yes, Tax Traders. Now, the Financial Innovation Project of the Year, my personal favourite, is sponsored by Tax Management New Zealand. And Finance Team Culture and Talent Management Award is sponsored by Consult Recruitment Specialists. That's a good award too. New Zealand CFO of the Year, the real big one, is sponsored by LeasePlan, and then another real big one, the Outstanding Contribution to Finance and Business Award, sponsored by the South Waikato District Council, Space to Grow, is a very special honour awarded annually by selection to a business person whose contribution has significantly and uniquely impacted the greater New Zealand or business community in a financial sense over the course of his or her career. Now on to our first category, Emerging Financial Manager of the Year, sponsored by Consolidator, powered by Develop in Europe. Now, this award celebrates the next generation of financial leaders who have exemplified success and high achievement in their role as financial manager. Now, the finalists are Marina Cook, the CFO of PlayCentre Aotearoa. Now, Marina has led the transformation of data collection and reporting for a New Zealand-wide early childhood education organisation, as well as the amalgamation of more than 30 associations, which in turn represented approximately 470 play centres, shops, etc., etc., etc. This required working with approximately 400 volunteer treasurers in both urban and rural New Zealand, and this transformation resulted in significantly more reliable information that was available on a timely basis, rather than many months in arrears. That was more readily able to be audited and also resulted in improved cash management and supplier relationships. Now, in addition to this, it has led to a significant increase in the confidence of Treasury and the Ministry of Education, which is the major funder, of course, in the organisation. This is a registered charity that we're talking about here, and the transformation was significant and the resources available to make the change were minimal. Okay, our other finalist is Sam Doreen, who's the Treasurer at Ka Inga Ora. Now, Ka Inga Ora arose from the amalgamation of Housing New Zealand, its development subsidiary HLC, and the Kiwi Build unit went into it as well. Now, Sam has led the development and issuance of more than $2 billion of bonds, and the government, the New Zealand government that is, has approved financing of up to $7 billion, big numbers. Now, these bonds, which are framed as wellbeing bonds, align in a very transparent way to both the organisation's strategy and the government's living standards framework. The wellbeing bonds are arguably a world first as an ESG financing tool. The issuance of these bonds marked a return of Ka Inga Ora to the debt markets after 19 years absence from those. So they're back in the debt markets. Now, the organisation and Sam have received awards as issuers and as individuals who are market leaders in the issuance space. The issuance of wellbeing bonds, as opposed to green or sustainability bonds, has enabled the organisation to attract wholesale investors who would otherwise not participate in an offering. I'd now like to introduce, that's your two finalists, so I'd now like to introduce Michael Dahl from Consolidated Powered by Develop in Europe to present this award. Michael.
Thank you, Patrick. And thanks for having us today to talk. We are very proud to be here, and we have arrived all the way from Denmark. So with Consolidator, we have now finally managed to make it out to this region, and we're launching our software solution, which is all about financial consolidation. It's about making CFOs look better, and it's about automating this whole process. Develop in Europe has last year, which is what I represent, launched our delivery arm, Develop in Asia Pacific, and we are now not only assisting businesses to go into Europe and launch and develop their go-to-market strategies, but we're now also taking European companies and Scandinavian companies all the way out here to Asia Pacific and Australasia through our main offices here in Auckland, in Sydney, in Hong Kong, and in Singapore. So that's exciting times, and this launch is fantastic for us, and the association with the CFO Summit has been glorious for us. So I'd encourage everyone to have a look at our solution and go and book a demo with myself and the team in Denmark. There's a couple of other things that I wanted to share with you around the consolidation, and not to get into too much detail, but the basic question: what is it? And what we tend to say is it's a cloud-based software solution for financial accounts. As simple as that. How we do it is via our Consolidator platform, which is all automated, standardized, and it's a very affordable solution as well. So something that is not seen to date. A little bit of a zero sort of model where it's all cloud-based and very affordable. So that was a little bit about us and why we're here, and we've brought the Danish flags today because, as we do in Denmark, as every birthday and every celebration, there's always a flag to celebrate, and we are here to celebrate today because I wanted to announce the winner of this category that we're very proudly supporting, Emerging Finance Manager of the Year, and the winner is, drum roll and flags, Marina Cook. Big congratulations to you, Marina. That is an outstanding achievement, and the first thing I wanted to say is exactly that. A big congratulations on winning this prestigious award. It's been a real pleasure for us to be involved with this, and learning more about this category and these young emerging finalists. So I have a couple of things here just to say as well, and this is around the judging of it all. The judges were quite impressed with Marina's energy and the resilience that she's been showing and displaying, as well her ability to coach and empower all the volunteers. It was more than 400 volunteer treasurers, so it's almost a huge logistical task to get everyone motivated and work together, and to achieve that seemingly unachievable goal is exactly what Marina did. So very impressive. We also want to mention the highly commended person in this category, which is Sam Duran. And Sam is a self-declared subject matter expert who started his leadership journey into the world of empowerment and delegation and coaching. And we support that as Consolidator and commend that as well. Sam has played a pivotal role in ensuring that government increased the permitted level of debt from, as Paddy said, the $3 billion to $7 billion, and all in that in framing bonds as well-being bonds rather than green bonds. So big congratulations to both finalists, and a special mention to of course the winner, Marina Cook, in this category. Thank you so much, and I'd hand back to you, Paddy. Thanks.
Great, and thank you very much. And Marina is with me now. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Quite shocked, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to the bonds issuance, sounds amazing.
Well, your work is amazing as well. And tell us, what do you believe the key components were in what got you here?
For me, it was getting all those 400 treasurers, well, it was over 400 treasurers, and we changed treasurers regularly on board. To do that, it really was just about making it really simple. I just noticed that, the simpler it was, the better chance of getting it right, the better chance of actually doing it. And then we set up a Facebook page and they started saying, hey, that was easy. So then another said, okay, I'll do it. And just easy yes/no answers, quick, using the tools, using those, using our cloud-based systems instead of Excel. So we used Xero. We do consolidate through that way. But the real highlight for me was when one of the treasurers came back and said, hey, this year was so easy. I managed to complete the whole finance pack in the ad breaks to The Bachelor.
Wow. Well, that's a good achievement. And, when we look at NGOs or not-for-profits, financial competence is so important in driving those forward. I mean, what lessons do you have for others who are watching, who want to get not-for-profits or NGOs up to that kind of level?
Yeah, I mean, it's true, because for most NGOs, it's not just heart, it is money. At the end of the day, we need money to continue. And having those skills on the board is huge, because it's not just huge for the competency on the board, but for management as well. We don't have the same access to expensive external contract companies to give advice. So we turn to our board. We need to turn to those other people. And so if you can be on one of those boards, that's something I would challenge my finance professionals, other CFOs, is if you want to see those charities survive that mean a lot to you, go and join one of those boards. Actually put your money where your mouth is and go and do it. And they don't have the money for the big director fees, but you really are making a difference, a huge difference.
Yeah, well, that's a great challenge for all you CFOs out there. Go and join the board of one of these organisations. Now, who would you like to thank?
First off, I've got to thank the volunteers and the members of Play Centre. Without you, we wouldn't even exist. And I just couldn't believe it. We had everyone actually complete those packs last year. It was just incredible, and we're about to go through year end, so really pleased that they'll be doing it again. I want to thank my own team who stuck through me through this, because it was a project for all of us. It wasn't just me, it was a real journey. And for my boss, Sean, for actually giving me the reins to go ahead and make so much change, and the board for believing in me. I'd like to thank even just our auditors, and like I say, getting that advice, my ex-colleagues at EY and the partners who, over the price of the coffee, didn't sort of realise a coffee, but really I'm challenging them to get some technical advice from them to support me through for the sort of advice I couldn't otherwise pay for. So I couldn't have done it without those people. But of course, number one supporter through all of this was my own husband. Whether it be late night technical support or just someone to talk to, or of course, the number of times he took the kids on the weekend so I could just nail down and do those consolidations and through the school holidays. I really couldn't have done it without him, and he's probably given as much voluntary time as any of the best in Play Centre. So, thank you.
That's awesome. And thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to Michael for presenting the award. And congratulations, Marina. Enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it. Okay, our next category recognises the finance team contribution to ESG initiatives and is sponsored by Tax Traders. Now, this is new for 2020, and this award celebrates finance teams that have supported the development, the management, and the reporting of ESG initiatives in their organisations. Now, without further ado, the finalists are Meridian Energy. Meridian Energy has a deep sense of connection with sustainable business, where environmental conditions integrate with the organisation's business strategy and practices. Meridian's purpose of clean energy for a fairer and healthier world aligns with their people's belief in what they do, which includes being eco-champions and employing climate and energy modelling. Now, the company strives to reduce greenhouse gas emissions through the electrification of their vehicle fleet, reducing waste, reducing air travel, investing at the same time in solar electricity opportunities, sustainable procurement, growing forests, and spreading the word about all this to their customers. Now, Meridian Energy uses specific measures, targets, timeframes, and the Dow Jones Sustainability Indices to measure the company's sustainability performance. Its Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, that's the TCFD, in case you didn't know, is a manifestation of the company's responsible management of its climate-related risks and opportunities, which are the enablers to long-term value. Okay, our other finalist is Synlait Milk. Synlait's sustainability commitment is to improve its environmental and social performance from farm to fridge. Its sustainability framework encompasses the environment, people, and enterprise, which align with its ESG criteria. Now, the company's Lead with Pride programs recognises and rewards suppliers who achieve dairy farming best practice that guarantees the integrity of pure natural milk product processed and produced on certified dairy farms. A Lead with Pride covers 4 areas: environment, animal health and welfare, milk quality, and of course, social responsibility. Now, Synlait, and this is a significant achievement, has just achieved B Corp certification, which confirms that it has achieved the highest standards of verified social and environmental performance, public transparency, and legal accountability, thereby building a more inclusive and sustainable company. Now, Synlait is also the first company in New Zealand to secure an ESG loan that links the financial arrangements. It's a discount or a premium to the base lending margin, if you like, to the company's ESG performance, which is based on a third-party Sustainalytics risk rating. Yes, I just said Sustainalytics, which was an achievement for me too, alongside Synlait obviously doing it. Now, our other finalist is Sky City Entertainment. Now, Sky City integrates environmental, social, and governance, that's ESG as we all know, of course, into its strategy to create sustainable shareholder returns and enhanced social and sustainability initiatives for its long-term viability and success. Considerations such as climate change, problem gambling, and organisational integrity and ethical behaviour are integral to Sky City's ESG conscience, of course. Now, on E, the company uses a carbon charge in its capital and OPEX decisions to mitigate climate change and to drive culture change within the company, and for its customers and stakeholders to know they are visiting a carbon neutral environment when they're at Sky City. Now, the company's food and beverage is low carbon using, where possible, locally sourced ingredients from ethical sources and taking into account packaging, cooking and waste management right through to composting and recycling. On S, the company has a host responsibility program that provides support to customers and others affected by gambling problems. On G, the board's sustainability committee monitors organisational integrity and ensures maintenance of a high standard of ethical behaviour. Okay, our next finalist, well done Sky City by the way, our next finalist is the Warehouse Group. Sustainability is in the organisational DNA of the Warehouse Group, where it embeds sustainability into its business strategy. It really embeds it. The company has been a pioneer in its steadfast commitment to operate in a sustainable way and to help its customers to do the same. Employees are attracted to the company because of its underlying sustainability philosophy that includes reducing landfill waste and recycling, being one of the first in New Zealand to phase out single-use plastic bags, responsible ways of disposing of products that are harmful to the environment, and educating customers on eco-friendly products such as LED light bulbs, which can make a huge difference. Now, the company encourages the community to reduce its carbon footprint by decarbonising transport in New Zealand, leads by example with its own fleet of EV vehicles, now at 30%. Well done, Warehouse, 30% of EV vehicles there. And to reduce a major barrier to EV uptake, the Warehouse Group has increased public access to fast and free EV charging at stores. Take your electric car in there and charge it while you're in there shopping. Now, I'd like to invite Nicola Taylor, who is of course from the sponsored Tax Traders, to present this award. Take it away, Nicola.
Hey, thank you, Paddy. Tēnā koutou, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our nominees today. Tax Traders is delighted to be presenting the CFO Summit Award for the finance team with a contribution to ESG initiatives for 2020. And despite us not being able to be together in person today, I do hope that the nominees feel extremely proud of their contribution to more sustainable, transparent and socially minded initiatives. And I hope that they'll break open the champagne a little later on today. Tax Traders chose to sponsor this award because we believe that business can be a force for good. And like the nominees here with us today, we see the ESG pillars, environmental, social, governance impact, being at the very heart of success. Tax Traders was founded on the belief that every New Zealand company, regardless of their size, scope and location, should be able to access the benefits of tax pooling, because leading well means leaving nobody behind. This view of business greatly affects the way that we work and is critical in remaining innovative, competitive and distinct. And the nominees this evening, they really inspire us to do this even more. We know that finance teams play an essential role in inspiring new ways of working that encompass and embody ESG initiatives. Whether it's creating transparency in the supply chain, lifting their environmental stewardship, implementing holistic reporting, or reaching for higher returns than just profit, finance teams will often be at the very front line in ESG initiatives. And we want to thank you for your contribution, for your leadership, and for your courage. So without further ado, I'm absolutely thrilled to announce the winner of the finance team contribution to ESG initiatives for 2020 is Synlait Milk. Synlait's finance team has been a notable leader in the development, management and reporting of ESG initiatives, specifically in the reward to suppliers who achieved dairy farming best practice. The finance team promoted and executed on projects which may have had higher capital outlays, but which were justified by the cost of carbon and their belief that it's the right thing to do. The finance team was the first in New Zealand to secure an ESG-linked loan and is instrumental in aiming for B Corp certification. Our warmest congratulations to Ron Michelle and the finance team at Synlait Milk. And receiving a highly commended notation this evening is Sky City Entertainment Group. SkyCity's finance team members are actively involved across the company's ESG initiatives to create sustainable shareholder returns and initiatives for long-term success. Finance team members have specific ESG responsibilities such as the carbon charge on capital and OPEX decisions, and to the Green Fund that is used to finance further projects that reduce emissions over time. The finance team also lead the development and use of systems for the procurement of locally sourced produce and promote the economical use of packaging as well as efficient waste management through composting and recycling. So our warmest congratulations go to the finance team at SkyCity. Once again, we want to congratulate all our nominees today, and particularly our winner today, Synlait Milk. I'm going to pass back to you now, Paddy. Thank you.
Okay, wowee. Congratulations, Synlait Milk. We now invite Ron Michelle from Synlait to come in to the awards via Zoom. First of all, congratulations, Ron.
Thank you, Paddy. It's a thrill to win the award.
Yeah, and I wish we were here to celebrate together, but we're not. So I will crack into it and ask you, look, Ron, what do you see as the key deliverables that the finance team in Synlait contributed to the development and success of this ESG strategy? You know, is it your data sets, your analytics, your reporting, your leadership, or all of the above, I guess? What led to this?
Well, it started off with the CFO was in Europe. There was a board meeting in Europe, actually. And while he was there, he took the opportunity to talk to large corporates in Europe about their initiatives in this area, and he brought that idea back to New Zealand, and then approached ANZ, who had been one of our funders for a considerable period of time, and ANZ were very enthusiastic. They've been doing some work on this in Australia, and so the CFO and myself as treasurer, we worked together to put in place New Zealand's first ESG linked loan, which was $50 million over 4 years. And then we followed that up with a further $50 million with BNZ, who are our other funding provider.
Wow, and I mean, what have you personally learned through this process, Ron? You know, not just Synlait, what have you personally learned?
Well, really, the size of the ESG linked loan and similar types of facilities globally, which are the amounts involved are very large, and the commitment to this, particularly in our business, the staff really did engage with this whole process right across the business.
Yeah, and beyond the obvious sustainability and environmental benefits of something like this, are there any other benefits that might have been a little bit unexpectedly realised as a result of this initiative?
Well, I think the key thing was the, as I said, the commitment of the staff to the whole policy, and the rating we achieved, which with Sustainalytics, which was 21.3, which internationally is a very low score. And so as a result of that, we actually achieved the second of our 2 target levels with our with the 2 banks involved in the funding arrangements. And that triggered the maximum discounts that we could achieve under these facility arrangements. So we certainly surprised ourselves. I think we certainly surprised the banks as well. But really that just demonstrated the commitment of the business and also the commitment of the banks to this type of loan.
Wow, an incredible initiative. Congratulations again to Synlait Milk and to SkyCity Entertainment Group, actually. And thank you, Nicola. Well done, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, our next category is the Outstanding Contribution to Finance and Business Award. And to announce this year's recipient, please welcome, a warm welcome to Paul Bowden from award sponsor, the South Waikato District Council Space to Grow. Paul.
Thank you, Paddy. The Outstanding Contribution to Finance and Business Award is a very special honour, which is awarded annually by judge selection to a business person whose contribution has significantly and uniquely impacted the Greater New Zealand or global business community, in a financial sense or over the course of his or her career.
Okay, and in recent years, this award has been presented to some truly inspiring individuals, including Dame Alison Patterson, Adrian Orr, Chris Liddell, Sir John Anderson, Sir John Buchanan, Sir Rob McLeod. He won it in 2019. Paul, I'll come back to you now to announce the recipient.
In the 2017 New Year's Honours, he was made a Knight Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit for his services to the state and business. He was born in the Hawke's Bay and attended St John's College in Hastings, obtaining a Bachelor of Commerce and Administration from Victoria University. He started his career with Coopers and Lybrand as an accountant. He stayed with the firm that later became PricewaterhouseCoopers for 33 years, becoming a senior partner specialising in the operation and governance of a range of public sector entities. During his time as partner, he undertook a number of secondments, including one to the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet, and the other as Chief Executive of what was then Housing New Zealand. Frequently referred to as a Mr. Fix-It within government circles, it would seem that he has held virtually every public sector job in New Zealand and discharged them all with excellence. Advising 4 Prime Ministers, he's made an absolutely outstanding contribution to the New Zealand public sector, particularly with his involvement in the challenges of the New Zealand Transport Agency, which he currently chairs, as well as chair of Auckland City Rail Link. He undertook a range of roles as a Crown negotiator on the Ngāi Tahu, Ngāti Awa, and Waikato Tainui river claims and settlements. This guy must be 100 years old, the amount of things here. I digress. In executive life, he's had a significant impact on all New Zealanders with his impressive directorships from 2010 to 2017. He undertook the role of Chief Executive of the New Zealand Post Group, responsible for its transformation from a legacy mail to an online business and the expansion of its Kiwi Bank operations. A broad and wide-ranging contribution to business demonstrates his solid contribution to finance across all its disciplines. Recently, he stepped down as the Hurricanes board chairman, having overseen the most successful period in the Hurricanes' history. He also co-led the team that secured the 2011 Rugby World Cup hosting rights that was hosted so successfully in New Zealand, a memorable event for all Kiwis. Continuing with his leadership of Antarctica New Zealand, his involvement in education governance and various private sector boards, this great New Zealander makes an outstanding contribution, not only to business, but to all aspects of life in this country. The recipient of this year's Outstanding Contribution to Finance and Business Award is Sir Brian Roach.
Well, congratulations, Sir Brian. What an award, what a list of achievements there. Incredible. And one word that pops to mind is Mr. Fix-It, which is how a lot of people know you. You fix things for people. And, you know, what sort of skills and attributes sort of come to that? Because you're dealing with such investigating kind of really complex challenges. You know, what skill set do you bring to that, Sir Brian?
Yeah, well, probably nothing overly technical, to be honest. Like many others, you know, benefited from university where I was taught some skills about how to make inquiry stuff, did auditing, which I still reflect on. So, yeah, what skills do I bring? Probably a degree of common sense and calmness and not being overawed by anything, because despite complexity, they're often very simple. You know, there's often 2 or 3 things. So, yeah, the Mr. Fix-It thing is a bit of a burden because it creates an expectation. But all the things I've done, I've considered to be a real honour and a privilege to be involved. Things that matter to the community, that matter to me and matter to New Zealand. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And Yeah, Mr. Fix-It. Yeah, I guess it does create that view that you will fix things.
Yeah. So, look, as I said, I've been given that opportunity by a lot of different governments over a few decades. It's been really rewarding for me, not because of the success, but because of the people that I've had the opportunity to work with and for. I continue to still work with great people, and believe it or not, still learning every day through experience. And I think that's something which is important to me. I often ask the question after my wife says, "Why have you agreed to do that?" is basically, if I can help, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, that's an awesome attitude. I mean, is there something that you're most proud of in this career? Is there any, I know it's probably like asking about a favourite child, but is there something that you're most proud of?
Not really. I mean, I'm proud to have contributed, really. I'm proud to have been able to use the skills that I was given and the talents to do something that made a difference. But yeah, look, I've had a wide array, whether it was, Rugby World Cup, Ngāi Tahu settlements, those sorts of things, they are really powerful and they're great memories. And, in recent years, my kids have been able to share some of those, great memories standing on the field after we'd thrashed France 8-7. There's something, achieving is about the satisfaction. And, that still drives me a lot. It's important to me.
Yeah, and speaking of important and something that we need to achieve in is obviously dealing with the pandemic. And you are very close to the heart of the government response, and your skill set as a Mr. Fix-It is needed there. What are, in your views, what is needed to navigate New Zealand through this pandemic?
Yeah, well, I mean, like all these things, it needs great leadership, and I think at a political level and administrative level, we've got that. But you can't help but think it's overly complicated and that there are too many moving parts. So I think, what I want to bring to it is a degree of simplicity and clarity. I think that's something that the finance skill teaches you is, what's important, how does this work? And so it's not, once again, I don't think it's rocket science, but, you just got to get in and be quite clinical. It's really, really important to this country that everyone has confidence and trust in our border and our testing regime. That's what we'll be applying our minds to, and I think it's entirely fixable.
Yeah, well, that's great news. I mean, you've also been involved with the contact tracing as well. I mean, this is not something I guess you imagined when you were coming out of university, this sort of thing. Yeah.
No, I mean, where I am today is a long way from, my upbringing and my family situation, and yet that family situation and the people I work with very early in my career did form me as a person, and I'm incredibly thankful for that, because success isn't about an individual, it's about the people that you have with you, and I don't for one moment ever claim this as a me thing. It's very much an us thing, and the role of people is often underestimated in terms of a success factor.
Yeah, and in terms of the pandemic, I mean, everybody who's going to be watching has been affected in some way, and CFOs have been doing an amazing job out there and their teams. Can you see some kind of silver lining for New Zealand in all this? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, silver lining, I think that's going to be something that appears over time. I do think we have beaten ourselves up a wee bit on it. We have done very, very well relative to the rest of the world. That's not an excuse for non-performance. But I do think the silver lining is we might actually learn what's really important in life, and connectivity with family, the social dimension. I think being isolated from others weighs heavily on people. I think the well-being issues are very pronounced and something that will emerge over time. So the financial impact is dramatic. There's no two ways about that. But we can get through that. It's an opportunity to reinvent the economy as well. Not all of what we left behind was perfect, although we do think it was. So yeah, I think there are opportunities. But when you're in the trench, it's pretty hard. And at the moment, we're coming out of our second trench. So this could be with us for 3 or 4 years, maybe. We need to learn to understand how to live with it and how to respond sort of without getting bent out of shape.
Sure, and there will also be a lot of young leaders and young future leaders watching now. I mean, what's a couple of bits of advice that you've got for the young financial leaders who are watching now?
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, absorb the experience. Experiential training is just probably one of the most powerful learnings of all time. And so, not putting yourself under unnecessary stress and connecting with people who are going to teach you something. You'll come out the other end of this much better off. I go back to when I started doing auditing, and that's a career that many people are a little disparaging about, but it actually does teach you a lot. The finance function itself, people are a little scornful of that. But, my advice to you is don't be defined by your discipline. Be defined by how you approach things and how you conduct yourself.
Yeah, and is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Well, many. There's just so many. But my wife has been there. She's one of the most tolerant people of all time, as you can imagine, and my family, because while I've been indulged, nothing comes free. There's a cost to everything. So, people still give me lots of advice and lots of support. I'm humbled by that. I'm appreciative of it, but I would never want to be seen to take it for granted.
Right, Sir Brian Roche, magnificent contribution to finance and business. Congratulations. I wish I could shake your hand, but maybe, as you just said, in 3 or 4 years' time, we'll be able to do that.
Yep.
That will be a silver lining, certainly. All right, thank you very much for joining us, Sir Brian Roche.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate the recognition.
All right, our next category recognises the Financial Innovation Project of the Year, sponsored by none other than the wonderful Tax Management NZ, Tax Management New Zealand. Now, this award celebrates finance teams that have come together to work over and above its normal capacity to achieve an outstanding result for their organisation. And the nominees are Bank of New Zealand, BNZ. They undertook a multi-year transformation project to fundamentally upgrade the quality of their financial management and regulatory reporting to make a step change in capability. Hear me, a step change in capability. Now, the project had a strong focus on creating a single data source, innovatively integrating the general ledger, yes, and data warehouse, yes, rather than drawing from and reconciling to multiple data sources. No more of that at the BNZ. Now, monthly reporting has been significantly automated and simplified, delivering real benefits in timeliness, while the detail and flexibility of reporting insights has unlocked business benefits. Wow. The quality of regulatory reporting is vital to a bank, of course, and timeframes have been improved materially, as has the integrity of the reporting. So that's great. Both fronts really nailed there, BNZ. Now, unlocking this capability has allowed the finance team to move their focus to adding value to the business. Given the scope of the change, careful change management was also vital to the project's success. Congratulations, BNZ, on the nomination. Next up, Genesis. As part of a wider transformation program, Genesis looked to dramatically change the way in which it brought from and paid its suppliers. Genesis had transacted over $700 million annually through 2 existing procurement systems, get this, across 12,000 purchase orders and 34,000 invoices. Over 400 pain points were identified in existing processes. That is a painful process with 400 pain points. 400 pain points, just to emphasise that. Now, significant innovation and effort was put into a comprehensive change management process with a big focus on user training and support. The new cloud-based technology has provided much greater visibility over procurement, delivered valuable process efficiency, compliance, and business benefits. Now, Genesis has measured key metrics since implementation, which are tracking materially ahead of expectations. Our next finalist is Kapura. Kapura has experienced rapid growth and embarked on an ambitious program to move from 45 separate finance instances to a Tier 1 ERP system in record time. You hear that? A Tier 1 ERP system in record time. Now, the existing processes were manual and time-consuming, provided limited insight in a dynamic retail environment, weren't good enough. The upgrade to, and I hope I get this right, SAP 4HANA or SAP 4HANA, SAP 4HANA perhaps is easier, was completed in 28 days, significantly shorter than many equivalent SAP implementations, and on budget. On budget's always good. We know that as CFOs out there, don't we? Now, the new system is delivering significant business benefits with further benefits expected in the future. The innovation in implementation has been recognised globally by SAP executives and has encouraged other companies to consider new approaches to implementation. Wow, that was big, and this is nearly as big. Sky City Entertainment Group are another finalist. The project involved in the biggest ICT project in Sky City's history, replacing a highly customised legacy system with a new ERP system covering all finance functions, supply chain and inventory management, all in one. The team was totally focused on implementing an off-the-shelf solution that could deal with complexity, scale, and ongoing business change. And one element of that innovation was the application of the system to kitchen management. That had never happened before. Now, with significant work put into change management, the system has been successfully introduced and new capability added to further features and functionality, unlocking further value and business insights. The scale and complexity of this project was impressive. Okay, now, speaking of impressive, I would like to invite Mara Fisher from Tax Management NZ to the stage to present this award. Mara.
Thank you, Paddy. It is my privilege to be here today to present the CFO Innovation Award. I'm the Head of Partnerships at Tax Management New Zealand, and innovation is in our DNA. Ian Cooperis, our founder, 20 years ago, advocated for tax pooling, and he pioneered it. New Zealand was the first in the world, and now still the only in the world, to introduce tax pooling. I worked with him then, and our office was his 7-year-old son's bedroom. Today, tens of thousands of people use TMNZ to save on IRD costs, reduce finance costs, and manage their cash flow. Almost half of New Zealand's provisional tax take is paid through pooling, predominantly through TMNZ. And TMNZ for almost 20 years has continued to innovate. We invented the trustee model that is industry standard today. We invented tax finance, flexi-tax. We were the first to integrate with accounting software. We did an app. We were first to market with a partner program, and many other examples. So I was reflecting last night, what are the ingredients that have enabled this innovation DNA? Firstly, a commitment to people. We believe in inclusion and diversity. I was in my early 20s when I pitched tax finance to Ian, and he listened. Everyone matters and has a voice. Our team and our clients come from diverse backgrounds, ages, ethnicities, genders, and perspective, and all ideas are respected. Second, an investment in expertise. Our client team are accountants, tax professionals, ex-IRD personnel. We also hire call centre specialists, developers, marketers, event specialists, UX specialists. When you have a multidisciplinary team, you have the talent and the capability to deliver on your dreams. And finally, a commitment to ease. We have the largest client service phone and email team, and we locate our client relationship managers around New Zealand to be easily accessible to our clients and what matters to them. We survey our users every month to get ideas to improve. We work with partners on their processes and get ideas to make life easy. If you're focused on your end outcome and your user needs, you will look at what you could have and what you should have instead of what you do have. So those are our ingredients. Let's look at the winner for today, and we can ask him some questions the same. Today, I'm happy to announce that the winner of the Financial Innovation Project of the Year is Bank of New Zealand. The Bank of New Zealand judges have commented the challenge and innovation displayed in creating a single data source with reconciliation directly to the general ledger, has allowed BNZ to realise material benefits in automation, flexibility, integrity, timeliness and insights across multiple reporting formats. The judges were particularly impressed with the automation and rigour this has unlocked in mission-critical regulatory reporting. Congratulations to Bank of New Zealand. Back to you, Paddy.
Thank you, Mara. And I am now joined by Andrew on behalf of BNZ. Andrew, come in, Andrew.
Thanks, Paddy. Very excited to get this award. The team will be extremely stoked to receive it as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's stoked to see you up there and have a few questions for you, such as, what were the key aspects of planning and the no compromise fundamentals that went into making the project a success?
Look, I think a couple of things spring to mind. Probably the first of those was really around getting together a team of subject matter experts from across finance, across the various teams. So those people had the right skills and experience. We pulled them out of their day jobs and put them into a central hub to focus on the design and delivery for the project. So that worked really well for us. In terms of no compromises, one of those was really around having that one central data source. So to put it in perspective, we had about 10 different data sources before, including the general ledger. So we've eliminated those different data sources, put those into the one central trusted source of the data. So that's opened up a whole lot of opportunities to produce that trusted financial management and regulatory reporting, which is all aligned from the common data source. Probably the last thing is that, we've had a real big focus on automation as well. So while we get the productivity benefits out of that, we also get a lot of de-risking from our processes in terms of producing those manual reports that we've had in the past as well.
Okay, great. Well, here's a tricky question for you then. Is there anything that you'd do differently?
That's a tricky one. Look, probably in hindsight, the only thing we would have done is maybe push to have a cloud-based solution, probably at the time rather than on-premise. That would have enabled us to scale up as the demand for that reporting has increased in recent times. So look, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. That's probably the only thing.
And can you offer any insights into the contractual terms and relationship management with your key supplier in this project?
Look, I think with our particular project, we were quite lucky. We had a lot of in-house skills and capability to design and deliver the project. We did have a little bit of help from some external suppliers, but that was pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. So, look, the big benefit from us is that we've been able to maintain that IP after the project's finished, and we've retained that within the finance team.
Okay, great. And what about the team? Tell us more about the team and how this transformation enabled them to enrich their value add to the business.
Yeah, probably two things that spring to mind. So it's really freed up the time of our accountants and analysts to spend less time producing the reports and all that more mundane type of work, and instead spend more time on the analysis and the insight, which is really what our internal business stakeholders want. So producing a lot more insight and being able to spend more time on that is one big benefit. The other thing is the self-serve capability. So our business stakeholders, and including our bankers, they can now self-serve a lot of their reporting requirements. So they're not having to wait to get hold of a finance person to respond to their queries and deliver that. So self-serve is a big win for the business.
And who would you like to thank and acknowledge out there?
Look, a lot of people. It was a really big collaborative effort across finance, but probably top of mind, should probably thank the big boss first. So big thanks to Peter McGillivray, our CFO, for sponsoring the project and also providing that all-important funding, which all projects need. And then on the broader note, look, a big thanks to my team, the Finance Service Hub and the Business Intelligence team, who did a lot of the design and delivery, but then also a massive thanks to the Financial Control team, divisional CFO teams, who all played a really big part in terms of the requirements and testing the solution as we deployed that as well. So big thanks to all of them.
All right. Well, congratulations once again, BNZ. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Mara.
Thank you.
All right, our next category recognises the Finance Team Culture and Talent Management Award, and it's sponsored by none other than Consult Recruitment Specialists. Now, this award recognises outstanding team culture within an organisation's finance team, and the finalists are, first up, Fidelity Life. Now, everyone knows Fidelity Life is the largest Kiwi-owned and operated life insurer in the country. Now, the industry has been slow to embrace technology and is burdened by outdated or irrelevant processes and reporting. But 2 years ago, the finance team was reorganised under a new CFO and challenged to make step change improvements in performance and outcomes and take ownership for continual improvements in finance functions and processes. There have been many notable successes and achievements. The key enabler was a revolution in the culture within the finance team. A revolution, I tell you, where 2 years ago, the majority of the team operated below the line. The team believes that today, everyone is well and truly above the line. Congratulations on that finalist there, guys. Now, our next finalist is Kāinga Ora. Now, Kāinga Ora arose from the amalgamation of Housing New Zealand, its development subsidiary HLC, and most of the Kiwi Build unit remember that on October the 1st, 2019. And to the extent necessary and relevant, this entry incorporated the operations and behaviours of the finance team in Housing New Zealand, which was the cornerstone of this new entity prior to that date. Now, Kāinga Ora is a very large organisation undergoing just a gigantic strategic reset, and in anticipation of and response to the new strategy, the finance team has been reorganised into two sub-teams, financial control and business performance, and has moved rapidly from a rear vision reporting mirror mindset to a forward-looking business partnering stance. Now, at the same time, the CFO and finance leadership team have transformed the culture and behaviours reflected in significant improvements in engagement surveys. Congratulations, guys, on this finalist. And now, another finalist, Sanford. We've all heard of them. It's New Zealand's largest and oldest major fishery and aquaculture business. Now, approximately 5 years ago, following the appointment of a new CEO, the company undertook a major refresh of its strategy, of its purpose, of its vision, and of its values. This has now been mirrored in the finance and IT team, the FIT team, particularly over the last 18 months where there have been spectacular improvements in culture and behaviours. The FIT team is now a high-performing unit based on values of respect, of collaboration, of open communication, of teamwork, and mutual support with world-class engagement scores. Now, to present the award, I would like to welcome Ollie Sanford-Scutt of Consult Recruitment Specialists. Ollie.
Thanks, Paddy. Yeah, my name's Ollie. I'm the Divisional Manager for Accounting and Finance here at Consult Recruitment, and I'd just like to state we're absolutely delighted to sponsor this year's category, and congratulations to all the nominees this year in what has been clearly a very challenging time for businesses up and down the land to continue to have the bar firmly raised high for your accounting functions, which is a pivotal role across the businesses, is to be highly commended. One of the things that we've noticed when we're speaking to high caliber candidates is they're really, really driven and firmly on the top of their shopping list to work for high-performing cultures where they can really buy into the teams that they're going to be working with and the idea of leadership. So to hear some of those key achievements from all the nominees is absolutely fantastic to hear, because finance really are the heartbeat of all businesses across New Zealand and really have a driving force in continuing to support decision-making to future fit, future success for New Zealand companies. So congratulations to all the nominees this year. It's great to see so many key achievements listed in there. Thanks, Paddy. So without further ado, the winner of Finance Team Culture and Team Management is Sanford. Sanford's FIT team has become an exemplar of a healthy and high-performing workplace. Its success is based not just on the soft stuff, but also on thoughtful and considered policies and practices around recruitment and development. Importantly, it is acknowledged and respected throughout the company for its constructive and insightful support to frontline business units, which are often addressing decisions with significant financial consequences. So absolutely fantastic news there, guys. Congratulations to Sanford and the team on what was a very highly fought award this year. And back over to you, Paddy.
I did notice there, Ollie, obviously your name incorporating the word Sanford there, so just to reassure everyone, there is no conflict of interest there. Is there, Ollie Sanford Scutt? No conflict of interest?
Absolutely no link whatsoever, but a great name by both parties, yep.
Just seeing that everybody was awake, I did pick that up as well. Now, let's hear from the team leader. Catherine, how are you? Congratulations.
Hi, Paddy. I'm well, thank you. We're very excited and pleased to receive the award.
I wish we could be all together, but Zoom will do. And can you please share with us the key benefits of the FIT program? The FIT program, I love saying that, and where it's got you to now.
Well, I could, but I won't because I'm part of an amazing team. And so I'm going to hand that over to Stuart. Stuart, would you like to answer that?
Thanks, Catherine. We have a really diverse team geographically spread across all our different sites around New Zealand and also in Melbourne too. And I think over the last couple of years, there's been a clear focus and understanding that we work much better together as a team, that we produce better results and actually have more engagement and more enjoyment out of our working together when we're focused clearly on what we do. We put together a team charter, and it's in line with the group strategy of care, passion, integrity, and achieving together. And the finance team, we definitely care, and we learn, and we win, and we celebrate together. And I think that common bond and focus for everyone has helped us achieve better engagement and more enjoyment from working together over the last couple of years.
Okay, great. Now, what is the key? And this might be a question for the team again, because team is clearly quite big at Sanford in the finance section. What is the key to your recruitment, and how do your FIT policies inform this?
I think the best person to answer that is the longest member of our team, and that's Dean, because he's never left. So, Dean.
Okay, Dean, who's never left, take it away.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, look, I've been lucky enough to have been working for Sanford for almost 29 years now, and I still consider myself maybe the new boy on the block because the business is so exciting, the team's exciting. We've come a long way in the last 5 years, especially with our recruitment. We're looking at people who fit into our FIT team. You know, the guidance from the top right through to our CEO has been amazing. And it's just been an exciting time for us all. And I think we learn from each other, and we learn from our mistakes, and we benefit from all those. And I think all those sorts of things come into getting the right team in place for the FIT team. So it's a fantastic team, and looking forward to the next 10 years, actually.
Yeah, well, actually, what about looking forward to the next 29 years, Dean? Because, you know, you really do seem to hunker down. Don't go changing, Dean. That's one thing I'm going to ask you. Don't go changing. Now, and back to the team, and this could be taken on by anyone, how has your culture played out in the COVID lockdown and the response to COVID, and how has this been supported by Sanford?
Sarah.
Hi, thank you, Catherine. Well, obviously going into lockdown the first time round and everything was worsening around the world, it was tough for all of us. We hadn't really done video calls before, let alone trying to get the whole company to do video calls. But we hit the ground running, and we came together quite quickly as a team to really start to look at the problems in front of us and work on how we can solve them together. On top of that, you know, working together as a team, we had amazing communications coming out from our exec, our senior leadership team. We developed a number of COVID response teams to face the challenges in front of us. And looking back, and I've said this to so many colleagues, it's been incredible how much our company has come together during this time, and we've never been closer than we are now, basically. And it's been incredible. And I think we're just continuing that pace. And I think we're definitely stronger coming out of that first lockdown, and we're continuing to face the challenges together.
Great answer. And I mean, I'll throw this one back to the team as well. You might already have answered it, but what is your team most proud of? What are you guys most proud of out there in Sanford World?
Well, I'm going to answer that one, Patty.
Oh, here she is. I knew you'd answer. I knew you'd answer one. I knew you'd answer one.
Well, it's the one that the one I'm most proud of is I'm proud of the people here with me today and everyone that worked for them as well. I'm very proud of us as a team and how we've come together. Achieving together is something that we do incredibly well. We are definitely better together. We've got such diverse skills and strengths, and we support each other. So even this week when we're all, as an example, we've got quite a few things going on, and the way we rallied around to help others in the team was phenomenal. So we find a way, and I think that's what I'm most proud of. Our engagement scores have continued to climb and have got stronger and better. So I'm just really proud of everybody here in the team. So.
Oh, great answer, and congratulations once again to all of you there. Thank you to Ollie, Sanford, Scott, and congratulations once again to Sanford. No relation. Congratulations, guys. And now we move to the final award, the 2020 New Zealand CFO of the Year, sponsored by LeasePlan. Yes, the 2020 CFO of the Year. Now, this category is open to individuals holding the position of Chief Financial Officer, and this award is the preeminent recognition of finance professionals in New Zealand. Some past winners include Scott Schooler, Jennifer Hooley, I really like her actually, Andrew Carroll, Alan Hickford, Nick Olson, Andrew McKenzie, and I have to say I'm proud because Jennifer is my cousin. Now this year the calibre of submissions in this category was so high, the judges selected four finalists, and the finalists for 2020 New Zealand CFO of the Year are Murray Annabelle from Delegate. Now, Murray has spent 15 years with Delegate, the last 7 years as CFO. Delegate Group is, of course, one of New Zealand's major listed wine companies with exports representing 97% of revenue. That's incredible, 97% of revenue coming from exports, including, of course, Oyster Bay, that iconic brand. Now, over the years, Murray has expanded beyond his background as a technical expert and has focused more on building the reputation and capability of his finance team within the company, characterising himself as an orchestra leader and mentor. What a great description there, Muzza. Now, Murray has built a highly effective transformational culture within his Auckland-based finance team, aligning well with Delegate's stimulating and dynamic work environment and the global growth trajectory of the business. Okay, our next nomination is Lara Ariel from Inland Revenue. Now, Inland Revenue, of course, runs the core tax and social policy system for New Zealand, thus playing a critical role in improving the economic and social well-being of all of us, of all New Zealanders. As the CFO, Lara plays a strategic leadership role, providing financial and business performance information, analytics, and advice. Lara is focused on building a lean and capable high-performance team. Okay, a lean and capable high-performance team. Remember that. She is committed to continuous innovation in core processes, to building Inland Revenue's change management capability, and to encouraging open, informed reporting and decision-making across her team and across the wider organisation. Lara has proven leadership and stakeholder management capabilities and a clear perspective on the transformational role that financial systems can play in building value for stakeholders as Inland Revenue transitions into an intelligent-led, agile and customer-focused organisation. Now on to the next finalist, Matthew Needham from Kāinga Ora. Now, Matthew has a highly credible background as a finance leader in the UK and in New Zealand. Now, as CFO of a relatively new combined entity, Kāinga Ora is the custodian, of course, of $29 billion of Crown property assets, $29 billion of assets there. Now, Matthew has been responsible for building and inspiring his finance team there, embedding a new culture and shared values, and assisting his team in their mission to add strategic value across the business. Matthew took a particularly distinctive leadership role when Kāinga Ora introduced $2 billion of new wellbeing bonds to the global debt capital markets. Wowee. He facilitated the development of this new instrument within the company, managed the approvals process across government and stakeholders. Imagine that. And then he led a successful marketing program with a range of new investors. Okay, moving on to the next finalist, Tim Williams from Mainfreight. Now, Tim has a long history as the finance leader of Mainfreight. He's been there for ages, one of New Zealand's most iconic and successful logistics organisation. Tim has brought a continuity of vision over the years as that company has just expanded and expanded to Australia initially, and then of course globally with 26 countries and now 260 branches around the world. Detailed due diligence of acquisition targets has been a key factor in Tim's contribution to the company's growth through deep understanding of customer needs and requirements. Customer first there at Mainfreight. The judges were impressed with the strong philosophies which characterise the Mainfreight business, as many of us are, particularly the emphasis on culture and people. And with the role of Tim and his finance team have played in enabling the highly effective operation of Mainfreight's very decentralised global structure. Wow, wowee, what an outstanding group of finalists. Now, I'll now hand over to Campbell Smith from LeasePlan to announce our winner. Campbell.
Thank you, Paddy. LeasePlan is honoured to be here today in support of New Zealand's leading CFOs for the 2020 Summit and to present the CFO of the Year Award. Looking back to January, I'd imagine that not even the best and brightest among us would have anticipated or expected the challenges that have come our way. For those of us entrusted with the financial management of our great local businesses, we have learnt a great deal on the way through. LeasePlan, like many of you, I'm sure, has navigated through what we hope has been the worst of it. On the back of strong business fundamentals, we have been a valued and trusted mobility partner for many businesses in New Zealand and all around the world for decades, and we continue to be so in this ever-changing future. Keeping businesses mobile will always be a key consideration. It's just the way that we will do it that will see some change. Today, we will save your business money and improve the efficiency of your balance sheet and one of your most significant investments, your vehicles. Tomorrow, we will help you to be greener, smarter, safer, and a whole lot more flexible. So please, start a conversation with LeasePlan. But for now, and without further ado, I'd like to announce the winner of the 2020 CFO of the Year Award. And congratulations go to Lara Ariel. Judges were particularly impressed with Lara's skills as a public sector finance leader. With a successful track record, a strong vision, a proven governance capability, and a clear strategic perspective. The introduction of the new all-of-government back-office process model and the interagency Justice Sector Fund, both of which Lara has championed, are highly innovative and potentially transformational projects, with a focus on optimising government spend on finance and back-office systems and improving performance in the public sector. Judges were also impressed with Lara's proven capability in leading various other government committees and projects beyond the inland revenue, leveraging and replicating her best practice learnings outside of her own agency. Well done, Lara.
Yes, congratulations, Lara. What a wonderful honour, and I have to say, welcome to the socially distanced awards ceremony where there's no handshaking and we haven't even been able to put our hands on the trophy, but I'm sure you'll find somewhere nice for it. I'd like to find out a bit more about how you see your role as a CFO and what do you think the key components were in getting you here?
I guess I've had the benefit of being a citizen of the public sector for quite a long time now, and working in the public sector gives you a broad range of opportunities to do really exciting and challenging work, and to work with some really dedicated and committed people. And I learn something new every day, and I'm passionate about what I do. It's great to be able to make a difference to the lives of New Zealanders when you get up and go to work every day.
Yeah, I mean, as we said there in the citation, inland revenue, it touches everyone. We need it. Does that create a special feeling for you when you're working there? By the sounds of things, it does.
Yeah, I think it's been really interesting watching through the COVID events, our sort of conversations about the team of 5 million, and I'm lucky to work every day with a team of 5,000, a bit smaller, but we are working to transform inland revenue to just make sure that we are delivering every day for the people of New Zealand.
Yeah, and tell us a bit about that transformation project, and I guess some insights into how you build the innovative team that is required to do that sort of thing. What type of capabilities are you looking for in that team? How do you build it, and how do you head towards taking an organisation the size of inland revenue, the importance of inland revenue, with the entrenched structures of inland revenue? How do you transform that?
We've got an amazing team of people, and it's been it's a marathon, not a sprint. Although Agile's really trendy at the moment, it really is a marathon. We've been doing this for quite some time now, and it really is a team of leaders as opposed to, or a leadership team rather than a team of individual leaders. We all have to take our turn at doing the heavy lifting. My bit is about leading the back office transformation, so our finance, HR, asset management and procurement systems, so how we run the department.
Yeah, and tell us about the culture. It's a high functioning culture, obviously. How do you get it to that point? How do you kind of keep it there? What are the secrets?
I think just keeping on investing in really good conversations with our people. I really like the way we've been very transparent about what we're trying to achieve with transformation, both with our customers but also with our staff, and just opportunities for people to grow, develop, do new things, try new things, make mistakes, and then fix them and learn from the fixing. So it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, and something you touched on earlier and is all around us with this strange sort of setup and this strange kind of year with so many crazy things happening to the world because of COVID-19. Tell us a bit more about what you said earlier about the role that inland revenue has in a change in New Zealand in terms of getting us through COVID-19.
We've been sort of investing, I guess, in transformation in a pretty tangible way for the last 4 years, but I think our COVID response for me, even though we've got formal milestones in our transformation program, the COVID response has really been a very tangible sort of demonstration of the fact that we are more agile as an organisation, and we have been able to respond to what the people of New Zealand have needed from us. Our people have been able to work more flexibly, with some working at home, to make way for those who couldn't work from home so that they could be socially distanced in the office. And the resilience of our people, just that kind of ability to change and learn and grow and adapt, is pretty much a result of the transformation journey we've been on for the last 4 years. So seeing how it all played out in a really different context has been pretty special.
Yeah, it was sort of like a high-speed test in some ways, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? The one that no one saw coming. And something that I liked about your answer there was, you mentioned people over and over again. That human factor that's come into things this year, not just for you, but for all of the CFOs watching, but particularly for your work. How does that human factor fit into things at Inland Revenue?
I think it really is important to actually be human as leaders of an organisation, and so the human factor comes from being human. We do make mistakes, we don't get it right all the time, we don't always know the answers, and I think being honest when we don't, I think being honest too about the fact that it's not always easy and that sometimes we have bad days as well. My chief executive says, Naomi Ferguson says, you know, it's okay to have bad days as long as we don't all have bad days on the same day. So it's just being honest about the fact that, you know, we are human and it's challenging, exciting, but sometimes really tough what we do, and being honest about that.
Yeah, and one thing, you know, a little bit away from the work side of things and towards the life side of things, work-life balance, something that everyone out here needs to address. So a little public service announcement from Paddy here to all you hard-working CFOs. Work-life balance, how do you sort of try and bring some balance to that work-life balance?
To be honest, I'm not particularly good at it.
Hey, neither am I.
My kids, when they were smaller, gave me a T-shirt that said half CFO, half vampire, because I went to work in the dark and came home in the dark, and therefore 7 and 8 year old logic, I must be a vampire, which was kind of cool, but also a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm probably working on it a bit more now, but I think some of us actually get quite a lot of energy from the work that we actually do. So there's a little bit about, you know, where do you get your energy, where do you top yourself up, and knowing when you kind of need to bank a little bit of fun. Humour's a big part of you know, just being able to laugh at myself is, and I do it often.
Well, especially when your kids call you a vampire, you've got to laugh at yourself,
yep.
I'm sure. And on that, I mean, who would you like to thank tonight?
Look, I would like to thank Samantha and Sharon for the nomination. I forgive them. I'd also like to thank John Ryan and Liz Sinclair, who are public servants who I've worked with for a long time and who really helped me understand what good looked like as a CFO in the public sector. Hopefully this is a milestone on the way to getting to good, but there's still room for improvement, I think. Naomi, for giving me the opportunity to come to IR on a secondment for a year, and 4 years later I'm still there. The ELT at IR for putting up with me for that long. I guess my team and my public sector network who you know, allow me to be me and bring myself to work, which is a good thing. And I guess last but not least, my friends and family who listen to my, you know, exciting CFO work stories, which, you know, without yawning too much, and who just support me all the time. It's great, thank you.
Yeah, well, that was awesome, wonderfully said. Now, congratulations again, your CFO of the year, Lara Ariel.
Thank you.
Okay, finally, a extra big congratulations to all our finalists and all our winners of the 2020 CFO Awards. And unfortunately, that concludes the awards tonight. Now, on behalf of event organisers, Conference, a big thank you once again to our award sponsors for persevering with us through thick and thin. Remember, this has had to be organised 3 times, and a huge congratulations to all those finalists and winners. It's just been a fantastic opportunity to be up here celebrating these inspiring individuals and companies that are just doing such great things for New Zealand business and the New Zealand finance community. It's really been awesome to be here, guys.